I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently sunny and 43 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out. St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
Oh my, it's almost Friday. Can you believe it? It's a Chris and Amy show, and I didn't know that we could even get to Friday anymore. Here we are, almost there. It's a Thursday. Happy day to you. Thank you for being with us today on the Chris and Amy show. The phone number is 314-436-7900. We're on the Odyssey app streaming. You can also leave us voice messages from the app. And if you would like to watch the show, you can on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer has warned that a new proposed police budget could decimate city services. That doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't. Decimate's a concerning word. Meanwhile, St. Louis Public Schools are looking to push back start times to better accommodate student health and sleep schedules. Really interesting here. We're going to chat with Dr. Brent Haberman of Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. He specializes in pediatric sleep medicine.
And with the Olympics over, the Blues are back. They will play tonight against the Kraken at home. Cardinals have baseball today, spring training baseball, and you can hear them play the Astros on Cardinals.com. That is just after 12 o'clock our time. We will have Matt Pauley at 10 o'clock today. He is covering the Cardinals in spring training, so we're looking forward to having a little baseball discussion with him. And Amy, well, what are we trying to do here? Try to give the police department, and there's a discrepancy here of something almost up to $72 million the state board has approved to give the police department, and the mayor says, we don't have the money for that.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a surprise. The city police board yesterday unveiled a budget that could be, as you mentioned, 50 million plus, 60 million plus more than expected. So there was an introduction of a $261 million spending plan, which ended up being more than a fifth larger than the final budget, which was proposed under local control. Remember, there's the state police board. The line item increases included more than $30 million for police salaries and more than $20 million for facilities, equipment, and long-term infrastructure. So the police board leaders said that the plan represents an honest assessment of the department's needs. They said that the higher pay is needed to fill hundreds of officer vacancies that have opened in recent years, and that those officers deserve to work in first-class facilities. And I will say this. We do know that, as Police Chief Robert Tracy has said, there are hundreds of vacancies still. We're way below in the St. Louis Police Department of the number of officers needed and allowed. And also, we know that the county can steal away police officers, which is fair game. I mean, that's what police departments do. They offer more pay, better benefits, whatever it might be, and they can steal police officers away. But the result is that St. Louis is in dire straits when it comes to retaining and keeping police officers. So I understand all of that. And I understand, they need to spend more. But I also understand how a sudden increase of $50 million could feel like, as the mayor said, a slap in the face. Like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah, and this is the police board that approved this. So their only function is to deal with that. So, of course, they want that extra money. They want the 48 to 72 million extra dollars. And I agree that we should invest a little more in that so that the city doesn't lose police to the county or to another region. We should pay them better. It's a difficult gig, and they should be compensated for it. However, the question I have is, if the state has now taken control of the police department, why aren't they responsible for helping pay the police department? Did they just get to approve the money and say, okay, here's what we approve. Now, city, you take care of it and spend that extra 48 to 72 mil. Where's the state come in on this? You wanted control of the police department. How about you give us money for that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how that works in the sense of there's state control of the city police. The way my understanding is, it's like that oversight board saying you're not running this or governing this correctly. So we're not owning it. We don't own it where we're paying the police officers.
What an easy position to be in, isn't it?
Just describing what, I believe it to be. They're the oversight committee saying if it has not been run effectively thus far.
And Amy, that was the argument against it, is that look, you can run this police department, but you better have some skin in the game. And they don't. They just have a say in it, but they don't actually have skin in this game. Like, they don't have to put up the money for it. They could just tell the city what to spend. That seems a little out of whack to me.
Yeah. And I'm not exactly sure legally, like I said, because this is kind of out of my pay grade with how it works. It does seem like this budget has more heft behind it than just a recommendation. It feels like they have some authority to make this budget. I don't know exactly how that works. I would think that there would need to be some approval from the Board of Aldermen, if not the mayor. And I don't know if they're saying, here's what you need to do, figure out how to do it. And I'm also the first one to say that I don't understand how, I don't think the city has really shown itself to be able to spend and allocate and apply money effectively. I mean, we're looking at funds that came in from ARPA, that was a disaster with, wait a minute, have you spent this money? Have you not spent this money? We haven't allocated it. We might have to send it back to the government. Then there was the RAMS money that you and I were just talking about last week.
Right.
Wait, are we going to fix potholes? Are we going to change the city? And then we've looked at, as multiple news stations across the area have pointed out, a tornado relief. They got money for tornado relief, and a lot of that money has not been allocated, and people have applied for months and months now and haven't received a dollar. And so there is a logjam in the city, which I think Republican, Democrat, we can all agree, whether it's too divided, it's political, it's personal, it's petty, I'm not sure, but somehow the city is getting money and it doesn't seem to be effectively flowing out to the people who need it the most. How does this tie into the police budget? I'm not sure, but I know there's money there.
Well, as far as the amount of money that comes into the city, forget about the Rams cash, because I think that is separate from what we are talking about. That shouldn't be money used on salaries and potholes and regular city upkeep. At least that's not what I think it should be for. It should be for, we keep using the word transformational, and I don't know if there's enough money for it to be transformational, but you can do stuff like fix the water system, which is really old, like the infrastructure for that, which is where a lot of that money is going. But in terms of the income the city gets, because we continue to lose population, and by the way, it's not just the city losing population, the entire metropolitan area is losing population. And the St. Louis Fed just said that we need to fix that. We need to find a way to keep people from leaving the area, or to find a way to get people into the area. So I don't think there's enough money coming into the city on a yearly basis. And it's not, again, the whole region has a problem with population. And if you have a problem with population, you have a problem with money coming in. And for the city specific, I just don't think there are enough people here and there's enough money flowing in.
And like I said, sometimes there's not transparency, and sometimes there's confusion, and there are optics. And just because optics look questionable. It doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong. It's just you can see how a layman would look at what's going on in the city and say, I'm so confused here. What's going on? Because what I do know is that in 2023, when the aldermanic board was shrunk down to 14 members, they also approved a salary double for the alderman. Went from $36,000 to $72,000. So you have 14 council members in St. Louis City, which has thousands of people, tens of thousands of people living in it. And people might say, well, wait a minute, why are there 14 board members making $72,000 a year in St. Louis City when St. Louis County, which has a couple million people in it, or 1.5 million, whatever it is, have 7 board members who make $20,000 a year? How are they able to function? And like I said, there can be good arguments for and against, but I can understand frustration because we talk about it every day and I don't have all the answers. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't either. And I do know that if the state is going to, at least this is coming from a layman, in my estimation, if the state wanted so badly to have control of this police department, then they should have more investment in it and not more say. It should be both. If you want more say, you should have to put up some money as well. So I'd like to see how this gets resolved, and I don't know if it will be resolved in a good way, but just another thing the city has to deal with. Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji, we're glad you're with us today. Please stick around until 12 o'clock. Then it's the Gas House Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Looking for something smart, soulful, and full of heart? I'm Jen Hatmaker, host of For the Love, the podcast where we talk about what really matters. Love and family, faith and purpose. Every week, I'm joined by incredible guests for honest conversations that invite all of us to live with more intention, more laughter, and more connection. Join us on For the Love wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's be honest, the hearing aid industry is broken. Overpriced clinics, pushy appointments, bills of $5,000 or more. That's the trap they hope you fall into. Don't let it happen. Audien Hearing is the escape. Their FDA-registered hearing aids cost just a fraction of the big brands, starting at only $98. Instead of paying as much as $5,000 plus all the doctor appointments and wasted time, you get what you need with no prescriptions, no office visits, no time wasted, and no crazy price tag. Call 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR. Audien's cutting-edge devices are rechargeable, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. Try them risk-free for 45 days with lifetime support and real human help just a phone call away. Over 1 million people have already said yes to Audien Hearing. Join them. Don't let them take advantage of you. Break free from the trap. Call now 800-700-HEAR. That's HEAR for a very special offer. 800-700-HEAR or 800-700-4327.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't final. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here. Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring. Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now. JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday for the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet. Just a couple things, huh? Maybe more than a couple.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, and we will be talking to Dr. Brent Haberman of Cardinal Glennon about potentially pushing back start times for school. Instead of starting so early that apparently children do better if they don't have to go quite as early in the day. And there are proposals out there for that. So we'll talk to him about the benefits of it. That is coming up just after 9:30. We were talking about the city's budget, and it sounds fun. If you just tuned in, we're talking about St. Louis budget. You're like, oh, yeah, what else is out there?
But it's more exciting because it's $50 million
at least
extra.
It could be 48 to 72 million. There are some discrepancies, I suppose. At any rate, just trying to figure out how the city is going to cover it to pay an extra 48 to 72 million dollars for the police department. And we talked to John, who is visiting with us from St. Louis. Good morning, John.
Good morning. This is a great conversation. One, I want to praise our St. Louis City Police. They do a fantastic job for what they're stuck with. The thing is that I live here in the city, and for years, we, the city taxpayers, if you want to be a police officer, you got to go to the academy, the St. Louis City Police Academy, to go get educated. Well, we the taxpayers pay for that. That's free to the people that attend, okay, because they got hired. But what they do is that they go to the academy, they get educated, they don't stay here, maybe a year, and then they're freaking gone. They got a free, basically, criminal education, and they're going somewhere else to the county or to some other county or whatever within our area, and they're going to work. But we're not getting our money's worth. We, the taxpayers, aren't getting our money's worth because of that. And that's wrong.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
I appreciate it, John. I don't know what the requirements are that if you go through city training, I would imagine you have to work here for a while. I don't think you can get trained in the city as a policeman and then say, okay, thanks for the training. I'm going to Chesterfield now.
I did know this.
Is that true?
Well, I did know this at one point, and so I don't want to speculate. I think it's shorter, like even if it's a couple years or whatever than you think. And I do know that does happen, that they'll get trained
But it's
here.
not immediate, though.
No, but even if it's 1 or 2 years, that's a big investment, right? That you're putting into training somebody who then goes to a county or
Well,
department.
then make the requirement longer. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty simple fix. If we're going to train you in the city, 5 years at least, you have to be a cop here.
Yeah, and like I said, probably having more carrots than sticks might be a good idea for trying to get police officers into the city of St. Louis, where you're going to make less than you would make out in Chesterfield or in Clayton? Because I know in Clayton they've gotten a lot of great city cops that go to Clayton now, right? And so you can't just say, well, if you become a city cop, you're stuck here. Ideally, we can have more competitive pay.
If we are training you for free, if that's what really happens, which I'm not sure that's exactly right, but if it is true, then yeah, that's the requirement. We are paying for your training, then you have to be here for a few years. I don't think there's anything unreasonable about that. And I understand the Board of Police wanting there to be more money invested in the police department, and I think there probably should be. But I don't know that 50 to 72 million when your budget and that what would that take up? I mean, that takes up about it's more than a third of your budget.
My understanding, though,
maybe closer to half.
My understanding is St. Louis County also sponsors the police training.
Yeah.
So these are people who they could have free training in the county or free training in the city, and they're choosing free training in the city because they want to be police officers in the city, unless something else changes their mind. Like, hey, if the county offered me $20,000 more, which they do, and more than that, in a lot of cases, it's almost an obligation to my family. I got to take that pay raise. That's a big pay raise.
There's more money in the county too.
Yeah.
Here's Bob in South City who joins us. Hello, Bob.
Yes, I was a police officer in the city here for 38 years, and I'm 21 years retired now. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, nowadays when they take the training in our academy in the city, they are required to stay a minimum of 5 years, or they have to pay a certain amount back to the city.
I mean, that would be reasonable to me. Thank you, Bob. If that's the case, that's reasonable. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I would agree that officers in the city of St. Louis should be paid more than what they are. But, St. Louis is what it is. And we only have so many people here. We only have so much of a tax base. There's only so much money coming in year to year. So we can pay them more, but we can't, we can't do like 100% raises.
And it's
just not realistic.
And just to clarify, too, what we're, I don't know if you'd call it arguing or discussing here, I agree. We need to give St. Louis police officers a raise. I think what is unclear is why the $50, $60, $70 million surprise expenditures in the budget, took the mayor off guard, why the number's so high, how the city would manage that. Because I can say, we know that the people of St. Louis, we know this from the failure in the last administration to what we're dealing with this administration, the mayor's office, that people want their basic civic services done. They want potholes filled. They want streets plowed. They want trash picked up, just the basic things. And so this Mayor Kara Spencer, really ran on that, saying, let's just get the city functioning. So if she's blindsided by a budget that is tens of millions of dollars more than she was expecting, even though I know a lot of people support the police making more and being able to hire more police officers, I don't think they're going to want to give up basic city services again. I don't think that's a trade-off that's going to be tenable.
Right.
But I don't know again, this is above my pay grade, so I don't know, where does the money come from? Where do they think the money's coming from? Because you can't tell me that the board, which has people who live and work in the city as well, that they think that money comes out of nowhere, right? I mean, that would just be ignorant to go, well, they'll just find it.
But you might have some people who think the only thing the city should be worried about is paying the police more. And because paying the police leads to better safety, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, because if you're neglecting other services, that's not making people safer either.
Well, and Frank Ladd, our producer as well, points out that, remember, the way the police officers and firefighters are paid is tied in together as well.
Yeah. We appreciate your text and your phone calls into the show, and you can do it whenever you want. 314-436-7900. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. Did you see this? Is next on KMOX. So it's not?
Doctor.
That's right. We got Dr. Haberman coming on. Your kid should go to school later in the day.
Get it together, boys.
That's what Dr. Haberman says.
That's what I say.
Yeah. He says you should have to make arrangements for your child to get to school now that you're going to be at work and can't take him in.
His mouth.
Oh, he didn't say that? We'll talk to him when we come back on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. There are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
NeoVitan began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created NeoVitan, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with NeoVitan, available at Schnucks, Dierbergs, and neovitan.com. NeoVitan, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
It seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get you a furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available, and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with the furnace or you want to prevent problems with the furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
I do not see a cloud in the sky right now. 46 degrees, mostly sunny today. A high of 59 tonight. Clear, a low of 34. Weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's exhibition preseason baseball today as the Cards take on the Astros. Pre-game 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
Welcome back. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you on a Thursday morning, 9:30, not too early, because St. Louis Public Schools are considering a proposal to push back start times for several high schools and middle schools in the area. That could take effect next school year. Well, to discuss this proposal and whether or not it would be beneficial for kids is Dr. Brent Haberman of Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. He specializes in pediatric sleep medicine. Dr. Haberman, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
All right. This has been something that my family and I, we've talked about for years. It's not totally applicable to me. I was homeschooled, so we picked our own start time. But I was always amazed that all these high school students would go to school at 7:30, 7:15. Elementary school kids would maybe start a little bit later. And we always had this discussion. What's the healthiest time for school to start for respective age groups? I would love to get your overall thought on that, I guess, to kind of start off the conversation.
Sure. So, really, most people don't realize this, but teenagers actually need more sleep than adults, and a pretty significant amount of more sleep. So they need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. And moving back the start times of school has been shown to really help improve sleep duration in teenagers. And we think that that's very beneficial. And there's been lots of benefits that have been seen in the communities where they've pushed back the start times later.
Just what is the science behind that? Because I'm an adult man and I feel like I need 8 to 10 hours.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. So when adolescents go through puberty, a lot of the hormones that they make, like testosterone and estrogen, those hormones that surge during that time actually cause our internal clock, which is regulated by a hormone called melatonin. It causes that melatonin to be made a lot later, up to 1 to 3 hours later. So what can happen is that basically the cue for teenagers to go to sleep ends up being later in the evening. And so they're unable to go to bed at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m., which is actually probably a good bedtime when you're having to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning.
Okay, so I remember when my younger siblings were in swim class, swim team. And again, it was the teenagers that had like the 6 or 7 a.m. start and the younger kids who had the 9 a.m. start. And I always felt like that should be flipped because I feel like little kids wake up earlier anyway. But is that an accurate correlative that teenagers will sleep later and younger kids wake up earlier? Or is it all kids need to sleep later?
No, it's actually definitely teenagers are going to need their bodies are going to want to go to bed later and sleep in more. And younger children, they typically can fall asleep earlier, so it's much easier for them to get that amount of sleep in a night.
That is, it's really interesting because I feel like most people in general, whether it's children or adults, don't get the sleep they're supposed to get. So what are some ways that, for an adult, we try to follow routines and it doesn't always work out. And I would imagine it's harder to impart a routine on a child. So how would you do that? How would you go about helping them get better sleep just in general?
Well, there's lots of different things that you can do. You can, good physical activity during the day is very helpful for sleep. It helps regulate our rhythms, makes us more tired at night, so it's easier to get to sleep. Definitely in children and teenagers, you want to limit the amount of caffeine they take in. I usually suggest that you do no more than 1 cup of coffee first thing in the morning, and you definitely want to not avoid any caffeinated beverages like sodas or energy drinks afternoon. You want to avoid long naps right after school. They can cause your sleep drive to go down, so you may not want to fall asleep. You want to keep lights in the house dim and avoid lighted screens at least 1 hour before bedtime. Light actually causes our internal clocks to want to shift later, especially when we get lots of light around bedtime. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons that teenagers and adults can have problems getting to sleep. And then you want to keep a really regular sleep schedule on the weekends and the weekdays. Sleeping in on the weekend actually will reinforce that later bedtime and later wake time, and it'll actually make it much harder when the work week starts or the school week starts to get back onto schedule.
I remember when I was younger, I did not drink coffee. Coffee was not a thing for me as a kid. I liked it. I liked the smell of it. I guess we drank soda, but there weren't energy drinks like there are now. Is caffeine
Absolutely.
intake for kids, is it a lot greater now than it was 20 or 30 years ago?
Yes, there's definitely a lot of heavily caffeinated beverages, and some have kind of attractive labeling. So a lot of kids are using those beverages frequently. And we know that even if you're having caffeine first thing in the morning, if it's a really large dose, there's still caffeine in your system at bedtime.
Now, going back to the schools then, because according to district officials, parents and sleep medicine professionals have expressed support for switching the school times, for having a later school start time over the past years. Do we know why maybe schools have been reluctant to look into this or to push start times back?
I think, a lot of things has been commented on as some places there can be added costs with transportation. And I know that's definitely difficult for school districts to accommodate sometimes with their budgets. We also know that that there can be changes in the school schedule, after school activities and things. And sometimes that may be harder to accommodate for the school. Sometimes parents, with their work schedules, they may have a tougher time accommodating the later start times. But in those communities where they've moved back the start time, there have been pretty big benefits to those communities. One, they've seen motor vehicle accident rates go down significantly over several years. They lower pretty significantly. They also see that tardiness rates and rates of absences go down, probably because kids are more alert when they wake up, and it's a lot easier to get to school in the morning. We also know that teenagers, when they're not sleep deprived, they learn a lot better. One interesting thing is that teenagers that are sleep deprived make a lot more risky decisions. So we know that from questionnaires and things that teenagers that don't get enough sleep, they have higher rates of tobacco, alcohol, and drug use, and also have more behavior issues.
That's amazing. What you just said, the school district, the St. Louis schools, mentioned that as well, that national research has shown everything that you just said. With when you have later start times, you have improved test scores, as you said, reduced screen times, reduced sports injuries, reduced drug and alcohol use. To me, it feels like a layup to try to make it possible. So would it be fair to say that you do support later start times for schools?
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of it. And I see a lot of kids in my clinic that they come because they can't fall asleep at night. And honestly, school start times when they're really early, a lot of them, that's playing a significant role. And I'm not alone. The American Academy of Pediatrics, which is, the biggest collection of pediatricians, and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, which is the biggest collection of sleep doctors, both agree that school start times really should be moved back, and definitely to the 8:30 or later time frame.
I want to ask you more about cell phones, because around the country, many states, and there are already school districts, many of those around the country, that have banned cell phone use from bell to bell or between periods. And, they're all various different kinds of rules now. How much does that affect kids that they are on their phones at any point during the school day?
It definitely can. There have been links between higher rates of screen time and poor sleep. We definitely, when they're using cell phones, and cell phones are a habit, so if they're using it during the day, they're probably going to be using it at bedtime. And we know that using cell phones around bedtime is just very detrimental to our internal clocks, and really will make us want to go to bed later and sleep in longer.
I feel like, as you said, and that's true across the board. That's something as an adult I've been working on, maybe reading a paper book instead of looking at my phone, because it does feel like my brain just gets wired if I look at my phone before bed.
Absolutely, and that's you're preaching to the choir here, because that's actually what I recommend to my patients, is that I think reading a book is the best wind down activity. And it's important that you do have a wind down period also before bedtime, where you're kind of relaxing, the lights are dim, and it just gives your brain time to kind of shut off, so it's easier to fall asleep.
I've seen some, this is very specific, but I have seen some research about using cell phones and being on Instagram, for example, or TikTok, and the short videos that people are accustomed to, 15, 20, 30 seconds, and then moving on to the next thing, really affects your attention span. And it's really heavy in children. So does that have, if that's one of your behaviors during the course of the day, where you're constantly scrolling, next thing, next video, 20 seconds, let's move on to the next thing, does that affect your sleep later on in the night?
That's a good question. We should do a research project based on that.
Well, you're smarter than me, so you do it and get back to me, please.
But I think definitely the more screen time, and we know with those short videos, they are addictive, and you'll keep watching and watching and watching. And the more time that you're spending on that screen probably is not good for sleep. We're not meant to be on screens. It's interesting, but they've done a study where they looked at a lot of hunter-gatherer tribes around the world that have no exposure to screens, and actually found that they have very little sleep problems. And when they asked them, do you ever have problems getting to sleep or not sleeping? And most of these, the leaders of these tribes said, absolutely not. That's crazy. Of course we sleep at night. You have to sleep. It's like eating. So I think it just shows that the screens and modern society definitely has caused a lot of sleep problems, and that's kind of been a side effect of those things.
Well, Dr. Haberman, I'll also note that, as talking about phones, and in a moment when our country is seemingly divided on everything, it's been really interesting to see red and blue states and Republicans and Democrats come together to look at the damage that phones are doing to our kids. But really interesting, even with the sleep schedules, you have very blue California and very red Florida have both mandated later school start times. In California, you can't start high school before 8:30 a.m. Florida had their new rules for later start times instituted this year. So it is interesting that the data is coming forward, and at least we're coming together to hopefully do what's best for the kids.
Absolutely. And the science just backs up those decisions. So I think and if you've ever gotten up a sleepy teenager, that's not fun either. So I think everybody can kind of unite behind this, and it's a really great, will potentially be a really great step forward for St. Louis.
Dr. Haberman from Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, we appreciate your time. Thank you for visiting with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me again.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
In a world of change, music captures the journey of the human spirit. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Bernstein and Robertson, American Reflections, March 6th and 7th. Conductor David Robertson returns to Powell Hall to present works by 4 American luminaries, including Leonard Bernstein's Symphony No. 2 and Robertson's own piano concerto, March 6th and 7th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for more information.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun by those clouds, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Amy, you are not going to like this.
Oh my gosh. What is it now?
At least I don't think you're going to like this. This is a story from The Verge, which is, I think they cover a lot of tech stuff and that sort of thing. Here's the headline. Burger King will use AI to check if employees say please and thank you.
That feels very Big Brother.
Burger King is launching an AI chatbot that will live in the headsets used by employees. The voice-enabled chatbot called Patty
Oh my gosh.
is
like
part
the
of
hamburger.
is part of an overarching BK assistant platform that will not only assist employees with meal preparation, but also evaluate their interactions with customers for friendliness.
I hate it.
Terrible.
I hate it. And you're telling
Hate
me
it.
Patty is only listening for please and thank you? Absolutely not. I would stomp on those headsets.
The AI system is set to recognize certain words and phrases such as welcome to Burger King, please, and thank you. Managers can then ask the AI assistant how their location is performing on friendliness. This is all meant to be a coaching tool,
No, it's
according
it's
to
terrible.
a spokesperson. I despise it.
It feels, to be honest, it feels like it could be illegal. If our company had, well, we're different because we are on air. Everything we say is pretty trackable. But if our company had headsets that we had to wear, so, when you go on sales calls, we're just making sure that you say thank you and you're welcome nicely.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. It feels some kind of privacy violation,
what?
right?
Do what restaurants have done forever, and I think this is perfectly fine. Use secret shoppers. Just use a secret shopper. And that's a person that is paid to go to a location and test it out. They act as customers, and then they report back their findings. And they let the company know they didn't say please, they didn't say thank you, they weren't friendly to me, the food sucked, this was cold, or everything was great. That's what a secret shopper does. Just stick with that. That's perfectly fine.
I know this isn't great radio, that I feel a slow response building to this, but it does feel like my blood is on a slow boil right now about how much I hate it, but I can't quite verbalize it.
I get it.
A little bit like the Ring doorbell Super Bowl commercial where they show the lost dog and how all the Ring doorbells can turn on in the neighborhood and follow the dog. And basically Ring exposed itself for what it is, a giant surveillance system that also uses a third-party company that shares all of that information with law enforcement and other companies and the government. And it was hilarious to me how insulated some of these tech companies are when it comes to AI or surveillance, that they think, oh, the people will love this, realizing none of the people work for your company because somebody would have said. That is super creepy that you are big brothering the entire community. At any rate, Ring pulled out of its system for tracking the lost dog and said, oh, no, we're not going to do this anymore because people apparently don't like being spied on and recorded with companies that can send that information to the government or law enforcement or anyone.
I will say that this program by Burger King, and a lot of the fast food chains are already using AI and drive-thrus like McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. They're attempting to do it. This pilot program for Burger King called Patty is happening in 500 restaurants. I don't know if any of them are here in St. Louis. I will say that if you have been to a drive-thru, I haven't done it a lot, but it seems like every single time I have done it in the last 5 years, it's brutal, dude. Almost everywhere. Although I've been to Chick-fil-A and they're quick, but everywhere it sucks so hard. You sit in line. I've done it before. I'm like, okay, I'm just not sitting here anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, this used to be really, really fast. If I remember this right, this used to be really quick.
I was never a drive-through person. Never did it. Even with Starbucks, I don't do Starbucks drive-through. I always go into the store. So I'm probably not the best one to ask.
Starbucks is slow in the drive-through. I will not sit there.
So 217 says, Amy is seriously worried about Patty listening to everything when our phones already listen to everything we say. One, I'm not naive to that. Again, we talked to Nicole Perlroth, who already said it's too late. Everything's out there. She'd have therapy after writing her book. She's a New York Times reporter. Of course, our phones listen to everything we say. It does not mean that I'm openly going to invite a headset that bypasses the phone and sends that data collection not just to my fast food boss, but to any third party that wants it, because it is not, I'm telling you, Jack in the Box technology.
Yeah.
That is in that headset.
You're right.
Jack didn't invent that technology, brother. And so that is just direct conversation that is bypassing all of the little loops and data collection at the phone. So yeah, of course I hate it.
Texter says the White Castle by my house has AI. It sucks. The human was faster.
Yeah. So if you want to get away from the stress of that, you need to go to Japan, and you can sit in a coffin and meditate. So Japan has this, it's a really popular thing now. It's called coffin lying, or the practice of meditating inside a coffin. And you go to these spas, super creepy. There's all these coffins lined up in a circle, and you can get in and lie there. And businesses promoting coffin lying services. It said it's a kind of meditation that's great for people who want to spend time alone and ease their nerves. Kind of dark, but coffin lying has also gotten really popular in Japan because there are record high suicide rates among Japanese youth right now.
You know, why does it feel to me like every coffin has been used? Even if it comes right off the assembly line. I don't know how they make them. But let's say they just get done making a coffin and I watch them finish the product, and then they were to say, get in this, go lay down in this coffin or lie down in this coffin, I think I would feel like a person has already been in it.
Well,
I don't know what it is about them. They automatically give me the ick.
What about if the coffin's cute, like the spa says?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work for me. Amy Marks, Chris Ranji. Hour 2 of the show is coming up next, and we're going to visit with Matt Pauley live from spring training next on KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
That's why our services go beyond parts and products.
with kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, DC. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 10 o'clock and we have sunshine and 47 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is being questioned behind closed doors by the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Presidential historian Douglas Brinkley questions the Republican-run committee's motives.
Why Hillary Clinton? She's not in the files. There's no evidence that she was hanging out with Epstein.
Former President Bill Clinton testifies tomorrow. Both he and Hillary Clinton had asked to testify in public. Meanwhile, documents in which a 13-year-old girl accused President Trump of sexual abuse have apparently gone missing. The FBI says it's seeing an increase in criminals who have found a new way to steal cash out of ATMs. It's called ATM jackpotting.
The ATM has cash in the cash canisters, and during the jackpotting incidents, the cash is removed from the canisters through a withdrawal process, basically, but it only is a loss to the bank, not to individual account holders like other crimes would be.
Special Agent David Herr says it essentially makes the machine continually spit out money like a slot machine. He says last summer, 4 people went on a spree from O'Fallon, Missouri to Cape Girardeau. A North St. Louis County levee district is suing a major nearby landfill. The Post-Dispatch reports that complaint was filed this morning by the Riverport Levee District, which hugs the Missouri River in Maryland Heights. It alleges a nearby landfill facility violated the law by discharging excessive pollutants into the levee district's drainage system. It's National Invasive Species Awareness Week, and Alec Lee with Davy Tree says one of the most invasive plants you need to get out of your yard is honeysuckle.
But if you have honeysuckle, you absolutely should remove it. The spread of it is very bad for Missouri forests. As it spreads, it kind of chokes out all of our native plants that are underneath it. Honeysuckle really is a major problem nationwide.
Aside from the emerald ash borer, Hall says we're seeing the bronze birch borer attacking river birches. If you have an ash or birch tree you want to save, he suggests injecting it if that's within your means. The U.S. Forest Service says 26 different insects and diseases are putting 70 million acres of land at serious risk. From the KMOX business desk, Burger King making changes to its Whopper for the first time in nearly a decade. The new burger will feature a more premium bun, creamier mayonnaise, and fresher toppings. Customers have long complained their burgers get smashed and fall apart, so they're getting rid of the paper wrapping and putting the Whopper in a cardboard box instead. The weather is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, high 58. Clear tonight, though near 40. Sunny, warmer tomorrow, high 73. Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds and not as warm, high 65. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Midwest winters take a toll on your garage door. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage and opener. It's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. It's sunny and 47 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Yo, Paulie!
Paulie's a great name.
Yo, Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Hour 2 of the show today. Cardinals baseball is happening today. 12:05. There is a ball game. It's the Grapefruit League, and the Cardinals are getting back at it today against the Astros. Cardinals.com. You can listen in.
Nice.
And we love to check in every day now with spring training going on with our guy, Matt Pauley, who is visiting from Florida. Matt, how is it down there?
It's good. You kind of had it felt like you were talking along with the tune of the organ there.
Thank you, Matt. I was like, why is he so sing-songy?
Well,
he was very sing-songy.
Things are great in spring training. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thanks for having me on.
Matt, clip that. We're going to use that.
We're going to use that forever.
What's funny, too, people can watch us, as they always can, on the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. But, Matt, I know sometimes we have, just your face, a picture of you. Thought that's what we had, and then your head moved, and it really threw me off.
Here I am.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah, make sure you watch the show.
Us,
You can see Matt Pauley in Jupiter, Florida. It says so right there on the thing.
Yeah, Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Mike Claiborne is sitting over to the side.
Hey, there he is. Oh, he's eating some.
There he is.
Is he eating peanuts?
Let's see what I think he's maybe potato chips. I don't know.
Hey, Mike Claiborne.
See, if you got to watch this stuff, you got to watch this show on YouTube. You don't
It's
get this
exciting.
kind of behind the scenes
That's
access
right.
everywhere.
That is exactly right. So
in the last 2 days going around to ballparks, I have seen the racing presidents at the Palm Beach. I saw Chris Christie yesterday, and I saw Mr. and Mrs. Met yesterday. So I'm just seeing all kinds of real and fake
Chris
people as I
Christie
make my way.
was at
through
Port St.
ballpark.
Lucie. Yeah,
He
so,
was.
and Matt tweeted out a photo of him.
I would like to meet
He's hanging
Chris
out by the
Christie.
batting cage.
I would have a beer with Chris Christie. He sounds fun. I think he'd be
I think
fun.
I would too.
Did you talk to him?
No, I did. He was with the owner of the Mets, and David's like, I'm not going to walk into
So,
that group.
Okay, when you say Mr. and Mrs. Met, are you talking about the owners or the
No, I'm
baseball?
talking about the
Baseball
the
head.
mascots. Yeah.
It would have been really funny if you just would have
You should've.
inserted yourself into a conversation with Mr. Met or
Mr.
with
Met.
Steve Cohen and
Chris Christie.
That'd have been awesome.
Walk up to him. Hey, Chris, did you hear what Trump said yesterday? Let's just get him going. Just get him going.
Why don't?
Jeez,
Or
why?
just go-
I'm thrown off. I can't believe. I wish we could go back in time and shove Matt Pauley into that group.
And have him say nothing. Just stand there.
Yes, hands in your pockets like you belong there.
Get in
They-
the circle.
They say that is the key to access is just act like you belong there. Put your hands in your pockets, sidle up next to Chris Christie and Mr. and Mrs. Met
There it
and
is.
the owners.
So
this is good stuff.
Hey,
Oh man.
Matt, we should have talked about this yesterday, but we didn't. And what we can do now is talk about the Hall of Fame because the Cardinals announced their finalists yesterday. And Yachty is on the list, and Albert, along with Brian Jordan and George Hendricks. So that's a pretty good list. So what do you think's going to happen here? I kind of feel like I know, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really, I was going to make a joke, but I don't want to but George Hendrick and Brian Jordan are incredibly deserving individuals into the Cardinal Hall of Fame, and they will get in there at some point in time. But I think we can all recognize what's going on here and know that, and also the Cardinals did not say anything in the release about it being limited to a certain number of individuals going in. You would think that this is going to be the opportunity to bring Albert and Yadi into the Hall of Fame together, and it's going to be really, really awesome.
Yeah, I don't. Is there a limit?
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about there being a 2 entry limit, that only 2 of them can make it. I had never heard that before. Maybe I just missed it, but is that what it is?
In the past, I believe it was, 1 from that group, because they had 3 different buckets of players or individuals, and 1 would be selected from each bucket, basically. I can't remember if the press release yesterday mentioned a number or not, but I just know, hearing things, that there's definitely the opportunity for both of those individuals to be selected this year.
Yeah, that's interesting because we were talking about this yesterday, and I just assumed, all 4 of them are going to get in, but we're just hearing that it is 2 people, it is limited, or we know this for sure.
I don't know that for sure.
You can vote now by going to cardinals.com/HOF, and you can vote through April 17th. So the ceremony will actually take place in September. So good luck to all of them. But I think it would be a really cool thing to have Albert and Yadi going in together. And it seems like that's what will happen. I hear Brian Jordan is your favorite player. Is that correct?
He was. So the 96 Cardinals were my favorite team growing up. That was like my gateway team where I became a lover of the game of baseball. And Brian Jordan was my favorite player on that 96 Cardinals team. And it's that, just when you think about your childhood and you think about your favorite players, Brian Jordan was my guy. I had a friend of mine who ended up somehow, some way, with the first home run baseball that Brian Jordan ever hit at home at Busch Stadium as a Cardinal. It's not authenticated or anything. There's no way to prove what it is. But this buddy of mine knew how much I loved Brian Jordan as a kid and gave me that baseball, and it's one of my prized possessions.
I was talking about this yesterday, that the 1996 Cardinals outfield, I don't think they were the best Cardinals outfield of my lifetime. But they were the one I liked the most. I think it was the Ray Langford, Brian Jordan, Ron Gant. I loved that outfield. That was
Ron
so much
Gant
fun.
Was, it was great. I remember at one point in 96, Gant was injured and he came back from injury, and La Russa started hitting Gant in the leadoff spot, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And now, if you were in baseball today, because he's one of your best hitters, Gant is a leadoff hitter. He had more power than you would probably do now, but it definitely was viewed differently because, in the world now where you can bat a Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot, you could maybe bat a Ron Gant in the leadoff spot. But that outfield was awesome.
I mean, I grew up with Willie and Vince Coleman and Andy Van Slyke, that 85 outfield.
But Willie was on that team. Willie McGee was on that team. Ozzie Smith was on that team. But it was Willie McGee 2.0 was when he came back and was more of
on the 96
a bench
team.
player.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. But that's a Gary Gaetti's the shortstop. They split between Ozzie and Royce Clayton there at shortstop. It was Pagnazzi behind the plate, just the Bennis brothers, Donovan Osborne, Todd Stottlemyre, Dennis Eckersley closing things out. I love that team so much.
Yeah, then this is like a personal take, which is not important to anybody, but I feel like sports fans get it. Your age matters when certain lineups are on the field because you're not worried about a job or taxes or anything pressing. So sports really can be your life when you were a kid. And that was me 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Tom Pagnazzi was my first favorite player, if that makes sense for some reason. And that outfield, it's when you think of Cardinals baseball, it looms so large in my mind. And it's not only because of the age, but also because of the talent that was there.
And that team was also, and I realized they played well in 96. They got to Game 7 of the NLCS. They were up 3-1 on the Braves and then ended up blowing in, didn't get to the World Series. And then the years after, the first few years, they weren't great teams. They weren't postseason teams, and then they would get going. But really, when you think of where the Cardinals are at right now, this new era under Chaim Bloom is starting right now, and you can easily make the argument that the era that just ended was actually the era that started in 1996. That was Walt Jocketty, and the Jocketty era very much flowed into the Mo era, and now this is something brand new. So you can pick different teams and different dates on when that last era actually started, but you can make the argument that it was 96.
And fair to say too that in the tough years when the Cardinals maybe weren't making the playoffs, you had Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and all the home runs.
Yeah,
in that
absolutely. Man, that's just my childhood. I remember the trade with McGwire, and my dad immediately telling me that I could call the day that McGwire got traded. My dad said that I could, call the Cardinals ticket office and get tickets for McGwire's first home game. And I was there, and I still remember he had not yet gotten the bats with the red tape on it. So he still had green tape on his bats because he had been with Oakland. Like those are some of my favorite memories of Cardinal baseball.
Matt, we are at this point of spring training where the starters, like the starting pitchers that we think of traditionally, are going to get a couple innings and that's it. They'll start to build up and get more and more innings as Grapefruit League goes on. Richard Fitz, who came over via trade during the offseason, he pitched a couple, gave up a couple of hits. That's the first real appearance we've had from him, so you can't take much from it. But where do you think, how does he end up being utilized on the roster, if at all, this year?
If he keeps doing what he did yesterday, he's going to be in the starting five. I don't know who's not going to be in the starting five, but that dude was pumping 98 miles per hour yesterday and looked awesome. And he had an approach. He was the most, we're one time through the rotation here. We haven't seen Dustin May yet. He's kind of on a different plan. He's kind of on the Sonny Gray plan from last year. Hunter Dobbins is still banged up. But for the guys who are active, we're one time through the rotation. Matthew Liberatore pitches today. He becomes the first starter to get a second start. But through the first time through the rotation, Richard Fitz was, to me, easily the single most impressive starting pitcher that the Cardinals have had this year. What I saw from him yesterday was awesome. And if he keeps doing that as he continues, and it's easier to throw 98 when you're going 2 innings, but it's not easier to throw 98 when it's your first appearance of spring. And his second pitch of the game was sitting there 97, 98. So that's a huge storyline coming out of yesterday. And if we were thinking that, okay, Richard Fitz is just going to be the 6th starter and he's going to be kind of in that Steven Matz role when the season gets started, I think he said something about that yesterday, because you cannot not have what we saw yesterday in the rotation every single time through.
So I know that's a spot they're going to have to fill out. And, we know who will be in, as far as May's going to be in the rotation. Liberatore is going to be in. I think we assume McGreevy will be in, maybe Kyle Leahy. Is it really just that last spot? And we're talking once the regular season starts. Is it just that last spot we're worried about?
I think so. Leahy could potentially, if Leahy really struggles, then I don't think he has anything locked in, but he's got the inside track on one of those jobs. So they're going to go with some sort of 6-man rotation to start the year. It might not be a straight 6-man every single time through, but there's going to be somebody who's going to get some starts beyond the 5. So, it kind of comes down to Andre Palante and Richard Fitz at this point and what that role is going to be. They'd really like to find somebody to be in that Steven Matz role from last year. And honestly, Richard Fitz probably fits that a little bit better than Palante. I'm not a huge fan of Andre Palante as a relief pitcher. I think he's best as a starting pitcher. But he's also he's changed himself a little bit. He's added a pitch this year, so maybe I'm not being totally fair. Maybe he fits a little bit more in that. But that's one of the major storylines here, talking about this team over the next. We're 1 month today is February 26th. We are exactly 1 month away from opening day.
Man, it is coming up, baby.
That's so exciting. Okay, well, so wait, 1 month away from opening day. Did you not say, was this sports related? Ron, you said there was something I needed to know about an anniversary.
Yeah, not now.
Oh, I thought it was sports related.
Yeah, but we're not doing it now.
Okay, because yesterday, I think it was yesterday in 1977, Slapshot was released. I think that's right.
Oh,
something like that.
Well, speaking of hockey, Blues play again tonight. They've been off for a while, and they haven't played at home in about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how things go for the final while.
Both of us, yep. You sure do.
They're gonna put on some sweaters and they're gonna put on some skates and they're gonna grab their sticks and they're gonna go try to do things.
I saw this quote, and I know that I'm sure the Olympics, because the security at the Olympics is insane, and they preserve things for historic, for museums and historic preservation. But Jack Hughes was asked about the puck for his game-winning golden goal.
Yeah.
He's like, I have no idea where that puck is, which I was laughing about it because of previous incidents with Ovechkin's goal when Jordan Bennington.
Yeah, does Bennington have the puck?
I know.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
I don't think so. But Jack's like, I don't know where that puck is. I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
No,
there you
just
go.
kidding. I'm just kidding. They think they say the Olympics like takes care of all that, and then they don't. Everything with the Olympics, the security is battened down. But I was kind of laughing because Jack Hughes has no idea where that puck is.
That's funny. Oh, it'd be so good if Bennington grabbed that puck.
He's the guy who would.
He was
could
there.
honestly, he could tell people he did and we'd all believe it, even if he didn't.
What if that was 4D chess from Bennington?
Maybe. All right, Matt Pauley, have a good one today on the call. Enjoy it, and we'll be here if you need us.
All right, thanks, guys. Things are great in spring training. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thanks for having me on.
That's Matt Pauley. He's the host of Rush Hour Sports Open Line, and you'll hear him on the Game Today, Cardinals.com. And he joins the Gas House Gang every day during spring training as well. So Chris and Amy show, Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock with Bernie Miklasz and me. A lot of Cardinals to talk then on KMOX.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600. SNL Coins, 544-3600. Or visit SNL Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL, 544-3600.
Race car drivers like NASCAR champion Jesse Love are a lot like commercial drivers, pros, but even the best watch the tape to see what they missed and get better next time. The Samsara driving coach does the same for your fleet, giving drivers real-time feedback to build safer habits. Samsara's AI uses billions of miles of real driving data to help fleets prevent accidents and protect drivers.
If it makes me a better driver, it'll make your fleet unstoppable.
Because even champions need a coach. Learn more at Samsara.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in the school pickup line, thinking about what to make for dinner. Are the kids' practice jerseys clean? If she sent out that last email before leaving work. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your HVAC systems at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com today. After all, comfort is our middle name.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contest.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Well, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about data centers, probably.
Oh,
right?
Are we building one?
Well, remember, the big lesson we learned is not that Amy was wrong about the data centers, although that's a big one.
Wait, hold on. Have you conceded that you were wrong completely? Are you now on board with data centers?
No, I'm conceding that I was wrong partially.
Okay.
Because I learned that, like Starbucks coffee, there are big data centers, medium data centers, and baby data centers.
So they're venti, tall, and grande.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we have like 12 to 20 data centers already downtown that are in some of the buildings downtown. We know that nice medical building where the nurses do telehealth in Chesterfield across from the mall that they knocked down despite my remonstrances. And they have a data center there in that glass building. So they're hidden throughout. What I am afraid of are the big dystopian monstrosities that are in rural areas.
Like the one in Pacific that was proposed.
Yep. And that's the one we're talking about now. So I am not anti-data center across the board, not at all. But you do need to look at the size and the impact. So there was a data center proposed in Pacific, and this was the one that was also by there was one in Shaw Nature Reserve as well. And they said, well, we got to see in this conservation area, how is the data center going to affect the habitats of different species? And a new report shows that it analyzed a 556-acre site where Atlanta-based Beltline Energy wants to build its building, 16 billion data center campus. It would be the Merrimack Valley Technology Park. So again, 16 billion buildings, $16 billion. Well, the Missouri Department of Conservation did not determine if the city should or should not approve the project, but it did say that it would threaten eagles, salamanders, and bats, and that it could also jeopardize other numerous endangered or threatened fish, mussels, crayfish, and plants. This is according to the Missouri Conservation Agency.
And what was news to me is that we have mussels in the St. Louis area.
No, I didn't know we had
I
mussels.
thought it was like strictly a seafood, like an actual seafood. Am I losing it?
Well, no, I mean,
like a sea creature?
See, with mussels, I knew there was probably some kind of clammy, mussely, shellfishy species here because we have crawfish, which are basically little lobsters.
Yeah.
In creeks, we used to look for them.
Oh,
under big rocks.
Yeah, crawfish is
And I'm pretty sure we've seen some mussely.
like all the way up the Mississippi, I'm pretty sure. But I didn't know that mussels were a thing
Do you
inland.
eat-
I
do you
honestly
eat
thought they
Missouri
were.
mussels.
I didn't know where they were coming from Missouri. I mean, I love mussels. I think they're great. Clams. I'm a big fan of all that.
Are
like
you?
I love shellfish. Like there isn't one that you can.
That's because you're shellfish.
Thank you. I don't know. I have no idea where they've come from. And I had no clue that they were in Missouri. I thought they were strictly coastal kind of things.
We need to get our research team over there to the right of me to see if there are Missouri mussels in the banks of the Mississippi, because just because they're there, it doesn't mean you should eat them.
And we're not talking about Pajeski
Oh
when
my
we
gosh,
say Missouri
that's
mussels.
his nickname is Missouri mussels.
No. He's over there flexing like Missouri mussels. You mean these?
Right here.
No, we're not talking about you.
Keep your shirt on, Matt. No, keep your shirt on.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think that okay. So now that you're telling me, like I'm okay with data centers. I'm not wholesale against them. I think that in some areas if a large data center, the kind that we're talking about here, if the people there want it, fine. Because I know we're going to have them in the country based on the way things are going with technology. We have to have them. We use so much data, and all of us do. All of us are on our phones constantly. And now artificial intelligence is going to suck up a lot of data. So we'll need it. And there's no turning this ship around. This is how it's going to go.
I've got a mussels update for you. Sorry. 70 native species of freshwater mussels in Missouri. Yeah, there you go.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Well, how about that?
Do you eat them?
I assume you can. But the point is, if the people in the area want it, great. It does feel like there are so many outcomes that happen and unintended that do affect the people who live in those areas. And if my mussel supply is injured by these data centers, then I'm out. I love mussels.
And quick note, it's because the data center, this massive 16-building data center, would be so close to the Merrimack River. That's the big concern, because the particular species of mussels, which are an indicator of water quality, they're only found in the Merrimack, St. Francis, and I don't know. I'm going to say it wrong.
What about what?
Starts with a B, the river. At any rate, that's why they're concerned. So we're going to keep an eye on this, because, again, not all data centers are bad. Not all are good.
And won't somebody think of the salamanders?
It's the giant one, too.
When we come back, Major Garrett will join the show, our weekly meeting with him, CBS News chief Washington correspondent. He's with us next on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklasz. Smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation, plus live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my good friends at Ophthalmology Associates. So my doctor is Dr. Greg Birdie, and he's my doctor and he is my friend. He is a very, very good, very thorough doctor. His longtime partner, Dr. Malhotra, Dr. Royer, Dr. Brusati, they are the doctor's doctors. Why do they call them this? Because about 250 local and regional doctors go to the doctor's doctors for their eye care. Now, are their eyes more important than yours? No, of course not. But it's a real indicator that they are legit when other doctors go to them when they could go anywhere in the world for their eye care. Whether you're there for a comprehensive exam or you're there for a surgical consultation on LASIK or cataracts, you're going to be treated with respect and professionalism every single time. Call 314-966-5000 or log on to youridoc.com. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com for the fine doctors at Ophthalmology Associates and the Cornea and Laser Vision Institute. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It's a beautiful day. 47 degrees, completely sunny, and it's going to stay that way pretty much all day. A high of 59. Tonight, clear with a low of 34.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Miklasz and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX. It's major news with Major Garrett, our weekly conversation with CBS's chief Washington correspondent.
It is a Chris and Amy show on KMOX, and every Thursday about this time we talk to our guy, the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News and host of The Takeout, CBS News 24/7. You can watch or listen to that show. Major Garrett is with us now on KMOX. Good morning, Major.
Good morning. I don't believe you have obtained express written permission to have a stinger of music that's The Who.
Sorry.
My bad. I think
Matt apologized.
Yes, I do believe. Yes, I think he's in.
Seconds ago.
I think he now knows he's in serious trouble.
Yeah.
My bad.
I mean, it can be provided, but there needs to be express written permission
from Major
you.
League Baseball.
Yeah. And Major Garrett.
And Major Garrett.
Just for Major Garrett. You don't need to bother the commissioner, but where I'm involved, you need to get express written permission. Great song. Who are you? Great song.
Yeah.
But this is a Zeppelin moment. The singer needs to stay in the distinct and defined is the important word, Led Zeppelin lane.
Do we need to start over?
I know. Do you want to hang up? Or?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It will not happen again.
We will put this down in our file.
Yeah.
It's a brief and slightly forgivable transgression. Okay. Well, the classification we have in our filing system. Okay.
Yeah.
But remember, just obtain the express written permission.
I know the buck is supposed to stops at the top, right? But I will not, and Amy will not take any responsibility for this. That is all Matt Pajeski's screw up.
Yeah, we're throwing it. We don't know who works for him.
In fact, when the song was playing, I looked at him like, this isn't a Zeppelin song.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on here.
Also, greetings from the Charlotte airport. I'm on my way back to Washington, D.C. I was out here for an assignment. So you may hear some overhead calls from my flight or whatnot, but we'll push through.
Anything you can tell us about?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just a small, interesting political story related to the North Carolina primary next week. Nothing big.
Well, speaking of big, the State of the Union did happen this week, and you were on the coverage pre and post speech, and it was the longest speech in the history of the country, longest State of the Union.
Yeah.
What did you take away from it just in listening to it? Because I know that everybody who is, you've got your political parties, you've got your predispositions, and people who like him like the speech, people who didn't.
Right.
What did you think of it?
So our polling unit put together some really fascinating numbers, and I mentioned them in our coverage because I think they're worth pointing out. So before the speech, we asked if you're going to intend to watch, how would you identify yourself politically? 58% said Republican, 18% said Democrat, 27% said Independent. And then we said, is there anything that could happen in this speech that might change your mind? 27% said yes, they were in that category. Minds could be changed. Well, I don't need to tell you there's some symmetry there between the 27% independents who were intending to watch and 27% who told us their minds might be changed. That's the sweet spot for this speech, because as you said, Republicans are going to love it. Democrats are either not going to watch it at all or dismiss it almost as soon as it is done or in the process of it being delivered. So what did the president try to do to create or change the momentum, which he acknowledges privately, and all Republicans acknowledge privately, is rocky and inhospitable? The former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, was on my show, The Takeout, that evening before the speech saying it's very rough out there. It feels like 2018 when Republicans lost control of the House. So the president talked a little bit about himself, but mostly he did two things. Wrap himself in great and legitimate stories of American heroism and achievement, trying to bask in the reflected glow of other American heroes, something that is near universal in American politics. When it comes to a gold medal winning hockey team, that's universal or near universal. Medal of Honor winners, Purple Heart recipients, Legion of Merit, et cetera, put yourself near things that are unquestionably honorable and speak to American achievement and American striving. Then also draw very sharp lines on culturally hardcore divisive issues, immigration, trans, and voting. And he did that. But mostly, The things that have recirculated by intent were these things about heroism and President Trump calling attention to that, trying to take some of the accumulated negativity personally away from him and put him in association with people who are not and never will be viewed anything other but as achievers, as American exemplars of accomplishment, and heroic figures. And when presidents do that, and do that as often as President Trump did in this very long speech, you know they feel they're in some sort of jeopardy, and they've got to change the imagery and the impressions that they've left thus far.
I have more questions about just the worsening bifurcation we're seeing, right, in our politics, the extremes on each end. But House Speaker Mike Johnson on Tuesday night talking about the 2026 midterm elections said, quote, "If we lost the midterms, heaven forbid, if we lost to the majority in the House, it would be the end of the Trump presidency in real effect." End quote. And so they're obviously feeling the pressure of the midterms. Is that something that he admitted out of like true fear, or because he's trying to rally the troops, or what did you make of that blunt statement?
Both. It's legitimate, it's fearful, and it's also a way of signaling the stakes for those who consider themselves either ardent Republicans, ardent Trump supporters, both, that this is hanging by a thread. Now, look, the majority in the House for the Republicans hangs by a thread anyway. It's a single vote on any piece of legislation, which complicates everything right now for the House Republican leadership. But if the Democratic tailwinds, which keep showing up in special elections, manifest themselves in general elections, Democrats could be on the verge of a House majority. And that would mean that you can't get anything through the House without Democratic consent, which would dramatically restrain any ambitions the Trump administration has for future legislation. Plus, you would open up an investigatory and oversight can of worms, which Democrats have made fundamentally clear they will pursue. And we had Jamie Raskin on CBS Tuesday night before the speech. My colleague Robert Costa asked him, "Are Democrats already talking about impeachment?" And he said, "No, we're not talking about that at all." That's a reflection of Democrats knowing they're not going to say that word in any context in the midterm elections. Not to say they won't do it, but they're not going to talk about it because they know that is something that is separate from and kind of radioactive in terms of their intent and what they would do with a majority if they were to get it back. Look, Republicans have a ton of money going into this midterm election, much more than Democrats do, much more, by a factor of 1.5 to 2 times. They have the money, they have some of the candidates, but they don't have the political atmosphere. And when you don't have the political atmosphere, it means you have to work 2 or 3 times as hard. And what Speaker Johnson is telling rank and file Republicans and all the consultant class and everyone else, we have to work 3 times as hard because the winds are against them.
What does that mean? Does it mean anything, actually, that the Republican Party at this moment has more money than the Democratic Party does to spend?
So it means you can protect those who suddenly become vulnerable, meaning you have the resources to suddenly put up ads, push back someone who is from the opposition party who's gaining on you. So you can protect. It doesn't mean you can necessarily win races that were already trending hard against you. And basically in any of the 30 or 40 districts where either Trump won by 5 or less or Harris won by 5 or less, meaning those ones that are competitive, those are going to be dogfights. And Republicans and Democrats will have plenty of money on those races. But if Republicans start seeing, and this is what happens if the prevailing political winds really turn against you, suddenly in the last 6 weeks or 8 weeks, seats that you were not assuming could be in any way, shape, or form vulnerable, start looking in internal polling that they are vulnerable, you can put that money on the table because you have it in reserve. And the Democrats don't have it to pour in to move a race from vulnerable to winnable. And Republicans might be in a position to say, this looks bad, this looks vulnerable. Let's put 2 million, 3 million, 4 million on the table in terms of ads, digital outreach to regain some momentum that's been lost. That's where the money makes the big difference. It will not decide races that everyone has circled on the map and say these are going to be competitive. The candidates, the atmosphere, the quality of the ground game, as always, will be decisive there.
Major, as we look at some of the dysfunction, what it can feel like right now between our branches of government, a really important Supreme Court decision, last week, 6-3, the Supreme Court saying that IEEPA does not grant the president the power to levy these tariffs. Now, I bring that up because now we do have all 9 judges weighing in on a couple of different cases on major questions doctrine. And at some point, all 9 judges have said, hey, the executive branch doesn't have this kind of unilateral power. Congress needs to do its job. Do you see any encouragement, or should the American people see any significance in that history now, that recent history from the Supreme Court?
Sure. I mean, and look, I'm glad you said IEEPA, which sounds like something you might say late at night after a very long party in Barcelona.
You get that? That sounds like from experience, Major.
No, I've only read about things like that. I've only read about late night parties in Barcelona, really.
He's just thinking about his late night parties back at Mizzou.
I know, that's right.
So, which beat any late night party at Barcelona by a long shot. Anyway, so the administration knew, and had every reason to believe, that the way they were going about this application globally of tariffs, declaring emergencies in every single direction, emergencies that essentially appeared in the middle of the night because they were showed up on the president's Truth Social site, we're not going to withstand Supreme Court scrutiny. They just were not. And the legal authorities the president now cites are much more cumbersome, have short-term application, meaning you can do 5 months or something else. Yes, he has tariff authority, but they're not nearly as broad as he was asserting. And his whole idea was, I will assert them for as long as I can. And whenever the Supreme Court, he knew this, and the administration, they talked a very public game. Oh, we're going to win. We're going to win. They all knew they were going to lose because the law is clear. And the president's application of it went so far beyond where the law allowed him to, that he was going to be restrained. But now he has created, by doing this for a year, this idea that tariffs are now part of the system of American international commercial negotiations. And that's no mean and no small achievement. He has said tariffs remain, and I will use whatever tool I can to make sure they stay, trying to create a new atmosphere for the tariff conversation, not just for the remainder of his presidency, but for the presidencies that follow. And I'm going to suggest to you, he will probably be more successful in that than less. Tariffs are going to be a part of this conversation, even if there's a Democrat elected in 2028. Because you know how I know that? Biden kept some of his, that is to say, Trump's tariffs against China that were lingering from his first term. So the tariff conversation has shifted. The Supreme Court has pulled him back. Now the president, more interestingly, has said, I'm probably going to lose on birthright citizenship. And he expects to. I had the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, on my show last night. He said, I think it's going to be 9-0. It should be 9-0. Whether it is or not, the president's going to lose on that because it doesn't fit within what the 14th Amendment says, what the Supreme Court precedent has said since then, and our common definition of what it means to be an American citizen if you were born in this country. So the president is preparing himself for Supreme Court setbacks. Does that augur or intensify the sense that he's a lame duck? Maybe. But most importantly, to your point and to your question, Amy, it does tell the American public in this constitutional republic, though institutional norms have been tested, and that's putting it mildly, there is still a body, the Supreme Court, even when composed most favorably to this administration, that will push back and say, no, the law is the law, the Constitution is the Constitution.
As part of their investigation into the Jeffrey Epstein situation, the House Oversight Committee is going to depose Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton today. That deposition will then be released. It'll be recorded and then released later. Meanwhile, Democrats on that committee are accusing the DOJ of withholding documents related to an accusation of President Trump back in the 80s, potentially sexually assaulting a minor. Again, that was back in the 1980s. So you've got all of this going on. Where does this investigation stand?
So last night on my show, I had Melanie Stansbury, who's a Democrat from New Mexico, who's on the Oversight Committee. And I asked her, I said, what are you curious about with the Clintons? She goes, Hillary, nothing. Bill, I am interested because He traveled. He went to places. He had associations with Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, related to things he was raising money for the Clinton Global Initiative. There was travel records. There are places. There are pictures. I want to know about what he knew and what he had reason to suspect or doubt. And she said, I was one of the Democrats willing to hold both of them in contempt because they were essentially asserting to the Oversight Committee that under no conditions could they be subpoenaed to offer a testimony on this. Because I thought that was a completely invalid and indefensible point of view. It's not Democrats saying that about Bill and Hillary Clinton. So that sort of gives you an idea that that some of the Democrats on the Oversight Committee believe there is some legitimacy to bring them both before the committee. Now, Melanie Stansbury said, I don't care about Hillary because I don't think she has anything to do with this. Bill, she said, I have some questions for. She also commented extensively, and I recommend that to anyone who's curious about this, what she believes the Justice Department held back in this most recent release, these not only allegations, but things that were followed up and the steps that were taken to pursue the allegations involving Donald Trump way back when. She said, it's not just the allegation, it's that there were clear signals within the documents that were not released, but we've since found out about, that indicate the Justice Department and the FBI took some of these things serious enough to follow up on them not once, but twice, but 3 times. Her words, not mine. So she said there's some there. I'm not suggesting there was a crime and the president needs to be prosecuted, but there is a lack of transparency, which she and many survivors say is not an accident, that the things that are not visible are things that would be either harmful to those close to the president or the president himself. I'm telling you, this story is not going away. And the proof of it is continued reputational harm for significant people in this country. Bill Gates had to apologize to his foundation yesterday on a Zoom call. Larry Summers is stepping down from his position as faculty member of Harvard. In Britain, the crisis continues. There's investigations in Poland. This story is not going away.
Major Garrett, we appreciate you. Have a safe flight, and thank you again for being with us.
Okay, just make sure you get that written permission. And
We apologize.
It will never happen again.
It will never happen
Wait, hold
again.
on. What's that?
Oh,
How about this? Listen, Major.
There we go.
There you
go.
Too little,
the
too
all-time
late.
Led Zeppelin song, said by Robert Plant, Cashmere.
Talk to you next week.
Yep.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News.
I've
We
never
almost
seen him
lost
so
him.
upset.
We almost lost him.
I mean, I could feel he was getting ready to hang up.
After years of being a part of this show, Pajeski almost ruined it.
Unbelievable. Missouri muscles over there. More like Missouri muscle head.
Yeah, idiot.
Ugh. No, you're not an idiot. Not
Well,
really.
Not most of the time.
We've seen worse.
Only sometimes.
Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us, and we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is.
Just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Man, this feels like a good time to go to the bar. It's only Thursday. Dang it.
I thought you were going to say it's only 10 and then it was 11. You can go to the bar at 11.
Of course you can go to the bar at 11.
The gold medal game, bars across Canada opened at 5 a.m.
Well, they opened here too, yeah.
Where?
All over. Soulard had a bunch open. I know in the suburb, there were bars everywhere all over the city open early.
Must not have tried hard enough. I Googled a couple that I was like, who would be open?
Oh, yeah. A lot of bars open like 6:30, 7
That's
o'clock.
pretty awesome.
Open just in time for the game. So I love when there's an event like that and unusual hours happen. It's
Quick note, 20.7 million people watched that game, but it peaked at almost 27 million. It was like 26.3 million, something like that, watched that hockey game. The most watched pre-9 a.m. sporting event in U.S. history.
Speaking of bars, that is our tournament as we get close to March Madness. And so what we need from you, we're in the submission phase. That means we need you to submit to us the best bar in the St. Louis area. You tell us what it is. Just give us one bar. Tell us what you think is the best bar in the St. Louis area. The selection committee will be getting together here over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be deciding who is in the tournament, the Field of 64, as we determine the best bar. And so that means anywhere in the St. Louis area that includes the Metro East side. So, you Belleville, O'Fallon, Granite, Alton, Edwardsville people, go on and submit your bar to us.
Ronj was very adamant yesterday.
Forrestal is out.
That Wentzville East.
Wentzville East is in. If you're western Wentzville, out.
West Wentzville, he has drawn a line.
It is too far.
So if you're in Forrestal, I am so sorry.
All right, so now we are going to help you avoid getting scammed during tax season. Man, don't we do things for people? We do things for people here on this show, Amy,
Yeah.
don't we?
All the time.
Yeah.
We're doers.
Who is a tax senior manager with Anders CPA here in St. Louis. She'll tell you how to avoid getting scammed this tax season next on KMOX.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
It is 11 o'clock and we've got sunshine, 50 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The House Oversight Committee is deposing former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton about the Epstein scandal, although she is not mentioned once in the files and told the panel she's never met him. She and former President Bill Clinton agreed to testify, but wanted it public and not behind closed doors. The committee's ranking member, California Democrat Robert Garcia, says the committee should also be questioning President Trump.
Now that we're going to hear from former President Clinton, I hope that Chairman Comer and the Republicans will join us in demanding that the person who actually appears more times in the files than the former president, who we want to speak with, is President Donald Trump.
Dozens of FBI witness interviews, including 3 related to a woman who accused Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was 13, appear to have gone missing from the trove of files released. Afghan authorities say they are carrying out strikes against Pakistan in retaliation for Pakistani airstrikes days ago. The East Tennessee Children's Hospital is now known as Dolly Parton Children's Hospital. Officials say the name change promises to transform pediatric care in the region, but declined to say how much money Dolly donated. A coalition of more than 100 organizations and leaders wants voters to approve a new sales tax to subsidize child care in the city of St. Louis. KMOX asked Mackenzie Grayson, campaign manager of Best Start for Kids STL, why everyone should foot the bill to help families with child care.
We want families to be able to go to work. Families aren't able to secure jobs because childcare is not affordable or they live in a childcare desert.
If the group gathers enough signatures to place the issue on the November ballot, voters would be asked to approve an additional 1/2 cent sales tax. Grayson says the funds would help families with childcare costs and provide grants to help improve childcare options in the city. A series of memorial services began today to honor the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. He is lying in repose for the next 2 days at the Rainbow Push headquarters in Chicago. There are also celebrations of his life in Washington, D.C. and in South Carolina, where he grew up. From the KMOX business desk, will AI take your job? A fresh round of layoffs for eBay. The job cuts are spread across the company and impact about 800 employees as the company streamlines operations. They've been investing heavily in AI. According to the Brookings Institute, more than 6 million Americans in clerical roles have jobs at risk. The jobs at highest risk for AI disruption, administrative assistants and legal secretaries, also vulnerable, payroll, court and municipal clerks, insurance claims and policy processing, interpreters and translators, and tax preparers. Women comprise 86% of workers in those at-risk jobs. In the St. Louis region, more than 68,000 local jobs fall into the highly vulnerable category, higher than the national average.
Bright sunshine this afternoon with a high of 58. Skies will be clear tonight, though 40. Sunny, warmer tomorrow, high 73. A mix of sun and clouds and not as warm Saturday, the high 65. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny and 50 degrees now. The weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
I have decided to avoid all tax trouble this year, and I have decided to go the Amy Marks Corps route by not paying them.
Evasion?
I'm going to evade them.
I'm on the up and up. Because I heard that, I think my understanding is tax fraud is on purpose. Tax evasion's an accident. That's not true. I didn't evade them. I'm on the up and up.
I'm going to have a tax accident. Tax Senior Manager with Anders CPA, Rebecca Tucker is with us on KMOX to help us avoid tax problems.
Avoid jail.
And tax scams, because people do get scammed this time of year. We've got Rebecca with us now on KMOX. How's it going, Rebecca?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're okay. So would you recommend not paying taxes on purpose?
No.
Okay.
As professional CPA advice, I would not recommend not paying taxes on purpose.
Well, I am on the up and up, Rebecca. I'm not great.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I'm not great. I don't even know how to do tax fraud. If someone paid me money to do it, I don't know how. What I do know is that every year I talk to my dad, who's a finance background, and then I go to my tax lady, and then I cry, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Can you help me keep me out of jail? And it's pretty straightforward. She's actually surprised that I can't do it myself. I don't have any dependents. My life is so simple. She's like, you could click these boxes and be done. But at any rate, I think what it does, it is illustrative of how tax season and taxes can be very, very overwhelming for a lot of people.
Sure.
Even more so when scams and AI are in the mix.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. And I think, exactly to your point, this time of year, we see even more advertisements and attempts at scam and fraud than we do, just generally throughout the year, because people are very sensitive to the topic of taxes. And am I doing it correctly? And how do I make sure I'm getting the right refund or paying the right amount?
So what kind of scams should people look out for? Like some basic red flags, because I know here, Chris Ranji, our buddy, got a scam from the quote IRS.
Yes. It was a voice message, and the voice message said if I didn't take care of, there was some tax issue, that if I didn't take care of it, it said literally they would call the cops. So
wow.
They said the cops. They did not say authorities, the police. They said the cops. So I knew there was something
The
off.
cops.
Sometimes it's easy
Sure.
to tell.
Yeah.
And obviously some of these scams are really sophisticated.
So yeah, what are
Yeah.
the ones they should look out for?
I think that there's a lot of things to keep an eye out for, and several of them in what, Chris, your experience was, getting a voice message, a phone call, or even an email that comes through from the IRS or a state taxing authority. That's not going to be the primary way that they contact you. You should be, if you're expecting a letter or if you receive a letter in the mail, that's more possibly legitimate than something coming through telephone, text message, email, those sorts of things. Another thing to keep an eye out for that, again, this was in your story, Chris, is urgency. Anytime that there's a reaching out urgently, whether it's a threat with, the cops or even the authorities, or if it's, if you've got to respond today, you've got to do this today, and we'll get you your refund. That's another big marker, big red flag for potential scam. Another one is just guaranteeing your refund of X dollar amount. That's not the way that preparing taxes in the United States typically goes. You need to be working with a reputable tax professional, or if you're doing it yourself, using the appropriate softwares that are available. The IRS has a website where they tell you the reputable softwares if you want to attempt it yourself, Amy. Otherwise, don't just go grab any person or any website that claims that they'll get you that refund right away.
How would you recognize a scam if it is snail mail? Because I know I had a family member who bought a house, and some of the snail mail looked very real and official, but it was scammy as well. Do you take it to someone like, a tax person who would know, or, how do you even check on snail mail?
That's a great question. It could be a little bit trickier, but I think we're looking for a lot of those similar red flags. There's an urgency requested, or you're expected to provide X, Y, and Z information. Sometimes the IRS does need that information in order to complete processing of your tax return or a request with them. So it's not always illegitimate. And if you're not sure, like you just suggested, Amy, I think if you receive a piece of snail mail that you're just not sure if it's legitimate or not, ask a CPA, ask a trusted source if they can help you identify whether this is something you need to take action on.
Yesterday, we talked to an expert about artificial intelligence and how some of the AI scams are targeting older people. And these aren't necessarily tax scams, but just, scams using artificial intelligence. How is it being used to get at people during tax season specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that I have specific examples, but I think it comes back to using our discretion, using critical thinking to identify, is this legitimate? Is this something that I was expecting, or is this something that is causing me an emotional reaction? A lot of times that emotional reaction is what they're trying to get at with these scams. So I think that that's something to keep an eye out for on anybody that's reaching out to us. Again, whether it's tax related or not, I think we need to keep an eye out for something that's going to cause that emotional flare up from us.
Yeah, we actually talked about scams online or AI scams yesterday, where you can use AI now to use your grandchild's face and voice, for instance, to make a FaceTime call and ask for money. And I thought, oh my gosh, this has gotten to a new level of evil or cruel. Have you worked with anyone that you've had to say, whoa, this doesn't look real? I mean, I'm not sure if that's necessarily in your purview or not, or have you seen it, something like that personally?
I don't know that I have. I have heard from some of my older clients who say that they've received a phone call, presumably from their grandson, who's very pushy on the phone. And that's the only way that this person communicates. They don't receive emails and those sorts of things. And they don't have a grandson. So they're like this, I know that this is scam. But if they didn't, I can see how that sort of thing would tug at someone who's not confident on the phone, whether that really is their grandson. So yeah, and I think this was probably a person in this example, not an AI. But if, we have AI that can do similar or even more remarkable interactions, that's absolutely, definitely something we need to be watching out for.
Rebecca Tucker with Anders CPA here in St. Louis. Now, what are some guidelines that people really need to be paying attention to? Forget about scams at this point. Just putting your taxes together. It's if you're doing it yourself, it can be a pretty difficult task. Are there general guidelines that you like to give to people? Because everybody's needs are different.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think your tax situation best, unless of course you're working with a CPA for, a significant amount of time. And so they're very familiar with things. But I think to me, this is natural being a CPA, but I think organization is really significant. I think keeping track for yourself of, I received income from these places during this last year. I had these expenses come up that I think might impact my taxes this coming spring. Because if you think about it, right now we're in February of 2026. It's a year from now, February of 2027, when we'll be filing 2026 taxes. So we will have forgotten things that happened in January and February of this year, this time next year. So doing whatever that looks like for you, that method of organization to help yourself keep track throughout the year of, again, those expenses, those income sources, charitable contributions, whether you like to keep an Excel spreadsheet or an email inbox, or if you like paper documents and you want to keep a folder, just something that's helping you touch base regularly a few times throughout the year, maybe once a month or so, just to make sure you know what you'll be looking out for when it comes to tax filing time next year. Because if that can give you kind of a checklist of the things to keep an eye out for this time, it'll be a whole lot easier to come up with those.
Yeah. And you said too, just going back to scams, the irs.gov has some red flags to look out for. And one of them, like you mentioned, demands, threats, urgency. Also, if it seems too good to be true, like this massive payday, it probably is. Mm-hmm. And it lists common tax scams that really prey, like you said, on emotional issues, charity impersonators, disaster fraud, seniors are targeted, social media, bad tax advice, that type of thing, where scammers can find vulnerable points for people.
Yeah, I think, if you're checking out the IRS website, irs.gov, even that can be a little tricky sometimes. Mm-hmm. There's probably irs.com and all that. But yeah, reviewing irs.gov to see what those common scams are. And that's another good way to give yourself that critical thinking hat. Anytime something comes in, if you're just not sure, with that urgency, just taking a second to breathe, think through it. Was I expecting this? Does this seem legitimate? I'm not going to hand out this information right over the phone unless I know that I'm talking to a legitimate source.
And finally, as we let you go here, with it being tax season every year, it always seems like something's different in terms of, I mean, if you've got any deductions or if you have any write-offs or that sort of thing. Is there anything new this year that people should be aware of as they are filing?
Oh, sure. With the bill that was signed in July, there were definitely some changes. Some of them take effect on 2025 tax returns. Some take effect on 2026. I can tell you one of them for 2026 is charitable contributions. Even if you don't itemize your deductions and you take advantage of the standard deduction, there's an opportunity to take the standard deduction and deduct some charitable contributions. So that's another reminder to keep track of those deductions during the year. For 2025, I believe we have potentially the opportunity to deduct some auto loan interest. Of course, this is just a preview that, there's rules and limitations and those sorts of things. But yeah, there's definitely some fun stuff that's different this year than last year and that will be different next year.
Rebecca Tucker, tax senior manager with Anders CPA here in St. Louis. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us, and good luck for the next couple of months.
Thanks so much, guys.
That's Rebecca Tucker joining the show. I think I'm going to go ahead and do my taxes this year.
I think that's a smart move.
Actually, I'm going to have somebody else do them.
If you had to do fraud, I don't think you would know how to do
I
it.
don't know how to do it, man.
Here's what I know. I don't own any cattle or livestock.
Yeah, I know.
I can check that box. No dependents, no cattle, no livestock.
I don't even remember seeing this on a tax form.
You know, it might have been personal property.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
You've been bringing this up like it's on the tax form.
Well, it's on something. I have not served in the military, and I don't own cattle or livestock.
I mean, W-2s and 1040s and 1040 easy and 1099. What's with all the numbers? Name it something better. Why is it 1099?
Here's a puzzle. If you don't do it correctly, we're taking you to prison. That's what it is.
We're going to call the cops on you and then take you to prison if you screw up your taxes. Important anniversary today. Important anniversary today. I want you to think about this, Amy. What took place 14 years ago today? You think about it, too.
You got to do the math.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is an important message for anyone struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. Due to ongoing inflation, job loss, and the rising cost of living, many Americans are facing overwhelming credit card balances. If you're drowning in credit card debt, you may qualify for powerful debt relief options currently being offered by National Debt Relief that can significantly reduce what you owe. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a debt consolidation loan. You could qualify for this debt relief option and only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. Act now to see if you qualify. With thousands of 5-star reviews online and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, National Debt Relief has helped over 1 million consumers with their debt that qualified for this relief option. So don't wait. Call the Debt Reduction Hotline now. Dial 800-428-5757. 800-428-5757. That's 800-428-5757.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Attention health and emergency professionals. When disaster strikes, communities need calm voices and skilled professionals ready to respond. That's why investing in your disaster behavioral health skills matters. Join us March 16th through 18th in Columbia for the Disaster Behavioral Health Conference. Learn practical tools, hear from expert speakers, and strengthen the skills people count on in times of crisis. Register today. Search Disaster Behavioral Health Conference, Missouri. Brought to you by the Department of Mental Health's Office of Disaster Services.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. 100 years, one legendary voice. Relive KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
Gas House Gang with Bernie Miklasz and me, Chris Ranji, coming up at 12 o'clock. We will talk some Cardinals baseball and more with Bernie. We've got Amy Marks' course here. This is the Chris and Amy show right now. And I asked the question, Amy, to be thinking about it.
I didn't think about it. I forgot to think about it.
Dude, I just told you 4 minutes ago.
I did the math and then I got distracted. I got a text.
Would you like to just take a stab at it in the dark? What happened?
Okay.
A significant moment in history occurred in 2012 on this date, February 26th. What do you think it is?
14 years ago.
Significant day in history.
Does it have to do with you?
No.
Oh. Okay, can I narrow it down?
Said significant.
Said significant.
Does it have to do with the world or St. Louis?
Well, kind of both if you think about it.
Oh my
It's
God.
a worldwide
You'll never guess
phenomenon.
Okay, wait.
Frank, does Frank know what happened 14 years ago today?
So
Frank,
2012.
Frank doesn't know.
Yes, they stopped making the iPod.
No. No. I think you could still get iPods.
No, you have to buy them old because Gen Z really likes
is that
them.
right?
Wait, the first taquitos came off the rollers.
No. Let me go ahead and bring it to you. This happened 14 years ago today.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
That's number 5. Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
There it is. Pete Weber.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Famous St. Louis and Pete Weber delivering bowling's most iconic line ever.
Who do you think you are? I am.
And can I just say, I didn't even realize that. That's right, I did it. I totally missed that part. That's worth clipping too.
It is one of the great things that's ever happened in sports. So
my
great.
understanding, a couple like teens, some young punks were heckling him. I thought he was yelling at a couple of young guys like, that's right, I did it. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, there was some young punk that was giving him a hard time, I think.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Just an awesome moment. Grew up in Florissant, Missouri, did Pete Weber.
Why did I think he was from St. Charles?
I think he was born in St. Anne.
North County.
A legend, a bowling legend, Pete Weber. Who do you think you are? I am. How about another bit of trivia for you?
Oh, I would love that.
This is one that I learned from John Hancock the other day.
Oh, you said you had a question for me, right?
Yes, this is the one. Okay. So I'm going to name a couple of songs for you. Okay. This song, I know you know it. It is Papa Loves Mambo. You know that song?
Papa loves Mambo. It's an oldie.
It is an oldie. Also, a couple of Disney songs.
Okay.
How about A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes?
Obviously, Jiminy Cricket.
You know that one?
Actually, Cinderella. Cinderella sings that.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Yes.
You know that one?
I do.
Okay, that song, all those songs were written by Al Hoffman. That's his name, Al Hoffman. Do you know what else Al Hoffman wrote? No joke.
Are you serious?
No joke.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious. John Hancock told me this, and I said, no way.
The guy who wrote A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Cinderella.
Yes.
Used to be my ringtone.
Wrote this song. Wrote Bear Down
And
Chicago
Bibbidi
Bears.
Boppity Boo.
And Bibbidi Boppity Boo. And Papa Loves Mambo. Wrote this song.
What a freaking American legend.
Isn't that unbelievable?
How do we not have do we have a statue of him somewhere?
I don't know, but there better be one.
Can you imagine if you went through your life and you said, I wrote Bippity Boppity Boo and the Bears fight song?
Can't believe it.
Were ladies throwing themselves at him?
Yes, had to have been. And also, the stuff that John Hancock just knows.
Why does he know that?
It's ridiculous. Just completely ridiculous.
Did you make sure this is true?
It is absolutely true. It is 100% true. Hoffman had very little connection to Chicago. He did write the Chicago Bears fight song in 1941 under the pseudonym Jerry Downs. But it was him. I love that bit of history.
I'm still processing this.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote "A Dream Is a Wish
He
Your Heart
wrote
Makes"
songs.
in 1949. And
He wrote songs for artists like Louis Armstrong,
Yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald, Perry Como.
He wrote Fit as a Fiddle, and Ready for Love. Da, 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 da. That was in Singing in the Rain.
Amazing.
I think the rest of our show should be dedicated to Al Hoffman. I don't even know this song,
Well,
but I love it. The name of the song is "If I Knew You Were Coming, I'd Have Baked a Cake."
Yes.
My mom used to sing that around the house.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Wait, he wrote that too? Or who wrote that?
He wrote that.
Oh, he did? Didn't know that. What a prolific songwriter.
This is the most amazing man I've never heard of.
I know. Isn't this amazing? Well, we would talk about it next, but we can't because Amos Tanuma is going to join us, and he is going to talk to us about AI again and how it's dominating customer service and ruining your experience. We'll talk about that next on KMOX. But have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, here is your opportunity to do so, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. So in case you're wondering what's an NBA future, well, a future lets you bet on something that you think is going to happen, down the road. So the championship. Who do you think is going to win the championship? Who do you think is going to win the conference title? You can bet on that now. Lock that in with FanDuel. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit one entry. For Profit Boost token, opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic installation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklas, smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation, plus live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It is beautiful and sunny outside the windows of Studio B. 52 degrees, but it feels like 61. Mostly sunny today, a high of 59. Tonight, clear, a low of 34.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Spraying a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water?
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America. by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
It's exhibition preseason baseball today as the Cards take on the Astros. Pregame 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting other customers. Please remain on the line as we value your call.
You know, I'm not sure they do value my call.
I feel like they don't.
Unless I'm about to pay them something, then they will answer the phone right away. Right freaking away. But if I need help, like our poor guy, John Hancock, he is having some customer service issues with St. Louis County. Yeah. But it's getting bad out there, folks. I can tell you that right now. And the author of the new book, Hold, The Suffering Economy of Customer Service, is Amos Tanuma, who is the CEO of Better Experience Group. He's worked for IBM. He's worked for Coca-Cola, and he is going to help us navigate bad customer service. Amos is with us on KMOX. We appreciate your time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. And I think any of us who have used customer service, well, we've always complained about it. I don't know that anybody has said, I just had the best customer service issue. It was amazing. They handled my call and it was done in 2 minutes. It rarely is something you hear. Usually it's complaining. Have we gotten worse at customer service? Has the experience gotten exponentially worse?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's very rare that people say good things about customer service. You know, I think I'll just start by saying none of this surprises me at all. Customer service is not really broken. It's working exactly as designed. And all that friction happens because, you know, it saves the companies money. And to your point about it getting worse, I don't think that we've invented a new strategy. What we have now is better technology and better automation that makes the friction easier for the companies and more frustrating for customers.
I've got a lot of questions about customer service, especially as we move into AI and bots where it's not just being on hold, but you don't even know if you're talking to a real person. But my first question is, in some cases, the frustrating customer service portal, it is a feature, not a flaw. Is that correct from some businesses where they're trying to wear you down?
Yeah. So if you think about how they measure success on the other side, this is some of the things I share. You know, these organizations, they look at things like deflection, containment. What does that really mean to us? Well, deflection means how many times did a human try to get a live human and they didn't? You know, that's a success. So you were forced to use it and you were in the loop. And even when you explicitly say, oh my gosh, I want a human, again, they're measuring success by they use containment. Can I contain you in, whether it's a portal, whether it's a phone tree, or as I like to call them, the phone jails, all of that equals success.
So that's how, I mean, how many companies, I know you don't have an exact number, but how prevalent is that where companies are just, their whole goal is to make sure you never talk to a human?
Yeah, I am ashamed to admit this, but you know, I've been doing this over 20 years. And earlier in my career, the number one thing companies would hire me to do is we'd come up with a way to make sure that even when you press 0, you didn't get a human. And so it was very, very important. And it still is till this date. that the whatever the automation is built so that you don't talk to humans. I want to just be clear. This is not because these guys are bad people or they're villains. It's just because from an incentive perspective, the most expensive part about customer service is humans. And you've already paid for the service as part of the thing you bought or the service. And so if they can spend as little money on that as possible, that's a good thing. So you will always notice it's the human service they hide from you and they try to prevent you from, because that's the part that is the most expensive part of their service.
So I understand that from the customer service perspective, you probably field a bunch of calls throughout the course of the day that are so ridiculous and could be handled by going to a website or, unplugging it and plugging it back in, stuff like that, really simple fixes. So you don't want your customer service reps to be spending time on silliness. You want them to be spending time on actual problems that need somebody to work on them. What percentage would you say of phone calls that come into customer service, generally speaking, are ridiculous and could be handled very easily without talking to a human?
Yeah, I guess I would take the other side of that in saying this. If I called your phone number as a company from an iPhone or an Android, I am very well aware of the internet. I probably have apps, and I am calling you for something I could have done on your website. It's probably because it's not that great. Because none of us on this call and those listening to you ever goes to the bank and waits in front of the teller to make a $20 withdrawal, right? So if it's easy, most customers are pretty sophisticated enough to figure out their phones.
Interesting.
I think you're correct. There are some, think people who are afraid of technology, or maybe even some, really, really older demographics. But for the most part, even the simple things that ends up with a human, it's because whatever this automation that you can do it yourself is not that great. You're not calling, for example, your bank to check your balance. You can do that on because they've made it so easy. So on a given day, the poor customer service rep is either talking to someone who has been properly frustrated by the internet and those things are not there. And to them, it may seem easy. But if it's difficult for your customers, I always say to companies, well, then it's not that easy because they're still calling you. No one wants to talk to, customer service necessarily. You're doing it because you feel like you have to.
So obviously with your new book, Hold, The Suffering Economy of Customer Service and How to Revolt Against a Bad Customer Service, you mentioned like getting past AI or spotting red flags. So what is one of your favorite tips for getting past AI or spotting red flags that people could maybe use today?
Well, good. So the number one thing you want to just keep in mind when you're dealing with AI is if you follow the path the way they've laid it out for you, you are going to be stuck in a maze and you're never going to get to where you want to go. So the moment you realize, okay, this isn't working, I need to speak to a human, just yelling customer service isn't going to help you. What you want to do is break the pattern. They've trained these bots to avoid certain topics. So if you bring up things like, litigation, or I'm going to be legal, or warranties, they will immediately eject and try to get you to a human. If you also say things that involve money, you know what, I want to buy something, I want to cancel things. Again, if they have a sales department, that will get you to a human as well. In terms of on the front end, I will not buy anything that costs a lot of money until I have spoken to customer service. I recently bought a leaf blower that's, cost me a pretty penny. And I ignore all the reviews. Those are all gamed. I find their phone numbers and I dial and I go, can I speak to a human? And I give them a fake scenario. I'm like, hey, listen, I bought your leaf blower. I've lost my receipt. The thing's not working. Would you let me return it? I really pressure test it. And then, and only then will I make a purchase. So I do those on things that are going to cost a lot of money. But when it comes to AI, always remember, what can I say that gets me off the beaten path? what are some trigger words that would force the AI, because they've trained it, to not go into certain areas to get you to a human.
So it's anything that has to do with money. Am I wrong for thinking that when you call companies customer service, that if you're looking to buy as opposed to looking to collect, that they are more likely to send you to a human right away? But because they want your money, so they'll get you somebody to talk to quickly. But if they're trying to extract something, from them, they will put you off.
You're exactly right. And your audience, you can try this right now. Pick your favorite retailer, hit service. Oh, we're busy. They're always busy. Your call's important to us. There's a long wait. Switch to the sales line and they answer you almost right away. I used to run large, with thousands of call center reps. And if I called the sales line and there was any wait time at all, people got fired. But if it was the service line, so because again, the motivation is, if you're looking to buy something, the company gets richer. If you're looking to call customer service, the company views it as they get poorer, because we've lost our way in thinking about service as only an expense and not what it was originally designed for.
Does it ever happen where the people who, is it the same people who answer call? And I know every company is different, but the same people who call for customer service, the people who answer customer service calls are the same who would answer the sales call. So you're just routing them to a human, or are there different divisions? Like, this is a salesperson, only deals with sales. This other one over here only does customer service problems.
Yeah, in general, they may be sitting next to each other, but they tend to separate them.
Okay.
Because what they don't want, so what actually happens, it's a good point you bring up, is so if you ever visited a call center, you would see people sitting together. You'll see all the service people. They're buried with calls back to back. They're all angry. They're all frustrated. And the guys in sales, all smiles on their faces, sitting around waiting, because you can't tie up those salespeople, right? And bother them with the service stuff. So they do have a level of separation, because a hold time, every second of hold on the sales line, that is costing the company money, is how they look at it. And every second of hold time and service, that is saving the company money. That's kind of how they look at it.
Do you notice trends in certain industries? Because I will say I had a hellish experience with customer service for a cable company provider several years ago. And it was so bad that the only reason my issue got resolved is because I knew someone who went to school with an executive at the company, and it escalated to New York. And it was a disaster. But like cable, cable companies, that type of thing, we had people calling in who said, like, my spouse died and I can't cancel this because no one will help me because I wasn't the primary, name on the account. And for me, I didn't have the service for 5 months and they kept charging me, and then it got sent to bill collectors. I mean, I was panicked. Do you notice that? Yeah, not all customer service industries are the same. Like, maybe cable companies or phone companies are worse than others.
Yeah, first, I'm sorry that happened to you, and it happens so often. You are correct that the less competitive the industry is. So I joke that the industries where they've kneecapped all competition and you have nowhere to go, the worse it is. Now, let's be clear. There are no great industries when it comes to customer service. This is flavors of bad now. And you are correct that the less competitive, the less competition, all of them sort of do things the same, because there's 3 or 4. Where are you going to go? The next company is going to treat you the exact same way. Those guys are the very, very worst of the bunch.
Is there a trick to canceling a service quickly? Because a lot of them do give you the runaround. They're trying to, you have to jump through this hoop and then this one and then this one in order to cancel the service. I mean, I did it with my internet, which was also a cable provider. When I moved a few months ago, it was the same thing. And eventually I said, look, I know what you're trying to do and I appreciate you. So you can tell your bosses you're doing a great job trying to sell me, but I don't want it. And eventually he stopped talking to me. So is there a good way to end that conversation quickly?
Yeah. So listen, maybe the saddest thing about customer service is Even the customer service employees are also hostages in this situation.
Yeah.
They're saying things they don't believe. They know it's ridiculous, but they can't say it because the call's also being recorded. The whole thing is like a comedy skit. But to your point about cancellations, I think the best way to do them is in writing wherever possible. But if you have to call, which a lot of them make you call, what you want to do is a little bit of what you said, but I would instead take the second path of adding, I am going to dispute my charge on my credit card if you're paying by credit card, or say, I need a confirmation right now that this service has been canceled. I think where you run into a little bit of friction is that there is this human on the other side who will get fired if they don't even try. So I just encourage your audience to at least indulge the person like you did and says, I know you're doing your job, but let's be clear here. I need a confirmation number. I need this service canceled immediately. But wherever possible, do it in writing, write them an email, and in writing, in black and white, I want this canceled effective immediately, or I will dispute this charge with my bank.
Okay, well, that's I'll try that next time. I will not resort to threats. I've heard that's been. Should you not say, hey, if you don't stop talking to me, I will come to your house and beat you senseless.
No,
should you say that?
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Oh my gosh.
Mas Tanuma, we appreciate you. Thank you for the information. The book is called Hold: The Suffering Economy of Customer Service. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
I don't know, man. I know people are writing in saying, I don't know, I have good customer service with my thing. Like, oh, good for you. But I do feel like it kind of
I know how to get
sucks.
A salesperson to stop calling you. Like they're trying to sell you on a gym or something. I used this line once and they never called again. I said, listen, I'm 40. I'm unemployed. I live in my parents' basement. Unless you can give it to me for $7 a month, I can't afford it. And he just said, I'm so sorry, and hung up, and they never called back.
Oh, they just hung up?
It was for a gym.
That's
They
awesome.
wouldn't stop calling, and I just used that line, and they scratched me off their list.
Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Hey there, it's Kevin Wheeler, and I'm joined by my friend and St. Louis real estate expert, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. And Gloria, everyone knows you for your guaranteed sold program, but you also help your sellers get multiple cash offers, right?
That's right. Some sellers are looking for speed, certainty, and to avoid repairs and open houses. I just helped a family in December to sell their parents' estate. They chose me because I offered 4 cash offers at our first meeting, which gave them options picking the best cash offer, whether it's multiple cash offers or my guaranteed sold program. My sellers are always in control to sell fast and for the most money. It's my guarantees and my buyers in waiting program that set me apart from other realtors.
If you're ready to make your move without the hassles, guaranteed, then call Gloria Liu right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for: their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. Magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Celebrate jazz legend John Coltrane with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in a special one-night-only event, Coltrane 100 Legacy. Celebrate Coltrane's creative genius through powerful orchestral arrangements of his most groundbreaking works. Curated and arranged by acclaimed composer Carlos Simon, this performance features saxophone icon Joe Lovano in a journey from Coltrane's early classics to his late visionary masterpieces. It's jazz, symphony, and legacy, all in one unforgettable night with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. February 28th at 7:30 p.m. at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Texter here says, I've worked in customer service in one form or another for 20 plus years. Most people who call are idiots. The answer is already there for them, but reason is hard. They absolutely call because they want to talk to someone over reading. 90% of calls are made by people that just want you to do it for them.
I believe that.
I believe it too.
Especially in a lot of, that's what I was asking about the industries. In a lot of different fields, 100% that's true. The newsroom fields all sorts of calls with questions that are so easily discoverable that I actually think it's harder to find the number to the newsroom than it is to find the answer to the questions these people are calling about. But as our guest said, industries that have a monopoly that aren't super, or at least aren't super competitive. There's only so many cable companies. They can be pretty flippant with you.
I worked for a news station in Bloomington, Illinois, WJBC, when I was in college. And I fielded a phone call one time from an older woman.
Aww.
Who said hi, and it was the tip line. It was for the newsroom, and she said, "What's the latest mattress store in town that's open?" And I said, "What?" She's like, "I need to go to a mattress store. What's the latest one open in town?" And I said, "I have no idea. This is the newsroom, madam." Somebody else called because they found a turtle that was missing and wanted to know if anyone reported a missing turtle.
I love the tip line. There's a Hallmark mystery series called The Tip Line Mysteries.
Earlier, when we were having the conversation about the data center that could be putting the river mussels in danger.
Yeah.
A texter says, "Good morning. I am a retired conservation officer from Missouri. There are several species of mussels in the Merrimack River. Back in the late 90s, it was a very active illegal mussel trade that worked up the Merrimack River." What?
Wow.
There's an illegal mussel trade? So I didn't know there were. I'm stupid.
Mhm.
I thought mussels were saltwater on the
Ocean.
coasts, ocean.
No.
And apparently they live in rivers.
Well, here's a 618 says there are mussels in my lake in Illinois, but they are not edible. Don't ask because I tried. LOL.
Oh.
Gross.
Ew.
Ew.
I know what happened there. They probably had
Ugh.
it coming out both ends.
Oh, that's
You know
terrible.
it's tomorrow?
It cannot be Friday.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it's Friday in February? Can you believe it?
It's almost Friday, and we'll be back tomorrow with Hancock and Kelly starting at 9 o'clock, and we hope that you'll come back for that. And we hope that if you missed anything on this show, you'll go to the Odyssey app and get the podcast, or iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We will talk to you tomorrow on the Chris and Amy Show. But coming up next, Gas House Gang, Bernie Miklasz, and me, we're going to talk some Cardinals baseball and more on KMOX.
Jack didn't invent that technology, brother.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money.